Hey everyone, it's Cassie from Cassidyreads and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I do want to mention a couple things before I start this video. One being I read the Bromance Book Club last week by Alyssa K. Adams and I absolutely enjoyed it. It did live up to the hype that everybody who read the arcs gave it. It was such a cute romance. Basically the storyline is a man is maybe going through a divorce with his wife, and in order to save his relationship and his marriage, he joins the Bromance Book Club with his friends and they read a romance novel. It's actually a historical romance that they read, and it's just a super cute romance. It's very kind of refreshing to read something different that's not your typical romance, because they are already married, where in other romances they're leading up to a marriage or they're not even dating yet. So it was super cute to read. The second thing I want to mention is I am currently hosting a giveaway on my Instagram, and it ends this Friday, the 22nd, I believe is the date. And I'm hosting it with my friend, the Guide to Romance Novels. We're going to have two different winners. One winner is going to win 2 signed paperbacks and 2 mystery paperbacks, and the other giveaway winner is going to win an Amazon gift card for $20. So if you don't follow me, go ahead and follow me at Cassidyreads and you can go ahead and enter that giveaway. And if you already do follow me, definitely check it out if you haven't already entered. Now, I am hoping to start doing 2 videos a week. I did really enjoy doing 2 videos last week, so now today's video is going to be the Boujee Booktuber Tag. I don't know where the original video is from, but I did see this on Gabby Reed's channel, so I'll go ahead and link her video down below so you can go see other videos just like this one. So the first question is, what is your average monthly budget? I honestly don't set a budget. I don't really think I spend that much on books. I typically maybe buy 1 to 4 books a month. I know that's kind of vague, but with like new releases, I'll buy a lot of them when they first come out if I'm really interested in reading them. Like this month I did buy the Bromance Book Club and a couple books for my book signing that I went to. But in all honesty, I don't really have to set a budget for myself. I feel like I get a lot more books from publisher and ARC, so I really don't buy my own books that much, especially right now because I'm so behind on my TBR, so I haven't really been buying books because I'm so afraid that either my shelf is going to break or I'm not going to have any more room to put my books in. But if I had to set myself a budget, I would probably set it to like $60 or so a month if I had to set a budget. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's such a weird thing to think about. I mean, I know that I should think about the way I spend my money, but I don't think I have like a problem when it comes to spending money on books because I don't buy that many a month. The second question is, what is the most you've ever spent in a bookstore? I don't really remember, like, even the last time I've gone to a bookstore. I don't really go to my Barnes & Noble that often just because they never really have new books or they have books that I, like, own already. And all honesty, like, because my birthday's in December and Christmas is in December, I'll get a lot of gift cards. And usually I'll get, like, around $200 worth of Barnes & Noble gift cards. So that's around that, like 100 to 150 to maybe less than 200 is probably the most I've ever spent in Barnes & Noble. I know a couple years back when the After books were published, I got all of them at the same time and they're about $16 each. So that was probably the most I've spent because I also bought a couple books as well with those. So the most I've probably spent is maybe $150. The third question is, are you willing to spend full price on a new release or will you wait until you have coupons? That's why I love Barnes & Noble, because they send me a lot of coupons, and we're also Barnes & Noble like members, so we get coupons in the mail a lot. In all honesty, depending on the book, I might get it at full price. But with Amazon sales, not like if you pre-order books, they're usually a lot cheaper. Like you can get them for like $10 usually when like the book's like $16. It depends on the book and it depends on the author. But in most cases, I won't really spend full price because I do not want to spend a certain amount on books. Obviously I'd love to, everybody loves to save money. But if it's an important book to me, like if it was like a Colleen Hoover release, a Vi Keelan, Penelope Ward, like any of them, and there's like no deals and I have to have that book like as soon as it comes out, I will spend the full price. But in most cases, Amazon does have them for cheaper if you pre-order. The next question is, would you rather buy one new book or several less expensive used copies? Honestly, I don't mind using or buying used copies as long as they're like in good condition, you know, like not ripped pages out or like ripped covers and like really destroyed covers, because I like the way they obviously look on my shelves. But yeah, I'd rather honestly have more books than less. And like I said, I really don't mind using used copies as long as they're in good condition, readable. I'm not really a huge fan of like highlighting in books. I've only highlighted one book I've ever had, but just because I have another copy. So as long as it has no highlighting, no writing, I can read it just fine and the cover looks somewhat presentable, I don't mind using used copies. The next question is, what is a reasonable price for a new hardcover, an ebook, and a paperback? Now, I'm honestly not a huge hardcover like buyer. I honestly really don't like reading hardcover books, but I do have a couple, of course, like I have my whole Harry Potter series and things like that. But I would honestly say in between like $16 and $18. I don't really like spending a lot of money on books. I actually kind of like ending it at like 16 or less. And for paperbacks, I would have to say in between kind of like the 12 and 15 range. And then for ebooks, anything less than $3. I typically don't spend more than usually $1 on ebooks. I would rather honestly just have the paperback at that point. I know like paperbacks can be a little more money than ebooks, but sometimes when you buy like an ebook for like $8, it's not really worth having an ebook when you could just have like the paperback on your shelf. So yeah, I would have to say anything under like $3 for an ebook. I think ebook prices can get a little out of hand and not worth it at some points. And I would rather just not waste my money on an ebook when I could have the physical copy. The next question is a signed book worth more to you, or how about a first edition? Honestly, I love all my books like equally. I mean, especially if I enjoy reading the book. And I do enjoy getting signed books, but at the same time, I don't mind not having a signed book. I do think that the price kind of like increases on a book value if the book is signed, but I don't like disregard books that aren't signed on my bookshelf. I do have quite a few books signed just from like getting them from subscription boxes and from getting them signed at signings or buying them online on like the author's website. But like I said, I don't think it kind of like, it doesn't really outshine just a book in general to me. And for first edition books, I don't really think I have like that many first edition books. I do like having them, and especially because some of first edition covers are just a lot prettier to me than like second edition covers. Like I do have the first edition covers to the Pizza series by Tegan Hunter, and I prefer those it's the couple covers over the just like man on the cover. And so certain covers I just enjoy over others, and other than that, like first editions aren't really like a big deal to me. I mean, they're a big deal like with like classic novels, but I don't really own any classics. But with regular romances and contemporaries, they don't really like, they're not a big deal to me. The next question is, what is your most valuable book, whether it's sentimental or actual value? Now, most of my books are the same price or around the same price. I don't have like any extremely expensive books just because I don't want to spend the money. But with sentimental value, I would probably have to go with Too Late by Colleen Hoover. This is my first signed copy by Colleen Hoover, and as most of you all know, Colleen Hoover is my favorite author, and I actually haven't even read this book yet, but since she had a sale about a couple months ago for signed paperbacks, and this was one option, and since I never owned it or read it, I thought I would just go ahead and buy a copy so I can read it later on this year. The next question is, would you pay more for an edition or cover you like better? Honestly, probably not, because like I said, it's hard enough for me to spend money on books as it is, just because I get I enter a lot of giveaways and things like that. And at the same time, as even though I was talking about the Tegan Hunter new covers for her pizza series, I wouldn't not buy the books because of the cover, and I don't think I would try to find those covers and spend more money on those books just because the cover's prettier, in my opinion. And I just I don't see the point. If it's the same book and storyline, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I would really like to buy the Wattpad version of After, because I did enjoy the After series more than on Wattpad than I did when they were published, but that's because it felt like I was really reading about One Direction, things like that. But at the same time, I definitely wouldn't spend more money to buy a different cover or a certain edition. The next question is, what physical characteristics does a good quality book have? Honestly, again, I love my paperbacks. I'm not a fan of hardcovers, as much as they look pretty on my shelf, all the Harry Potter books down here. I mean, they look absolutely gorgeous as hardcovers, but at the same time, the jackets can rip, they're kind of heavy to hold. But as far as a paperback goes, I would have to say, the normal size paperbacks are definitely, my favorite. This size compared to this size. I just think they're kind of, annoying to hold because they are a little bigger. The words are a little bigger, which, I mean, that's not a big deal to me. But I just physically don't like holding books like these. They kind of remind me of textbooks. But, I mean, obviously, I love these... Elle Kennedy and L.J. Shen, I love their books, so I really want their books like that. So yeah, the normal size paperbacks are definitely my favorite. The just quality of them is they're just easier to hold. They're easier to put in most of the book sleeves, and they're just kind of like I said, nicer to hold. And other than that, I feel there's not that many physical characteristics. Obviously, when they're not dented or scratched. I mean, a copy of Dirty Letters came to me and it was dent and scratched, and I was super annoyed. But other than that, I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't return it or anything unless if it's, physically ruined. All Your Perfects once came to me by Colleen Hoover, completely destroyed. And again, I'm not one to complain. So when Amazon heard from me, they were like, wow. They were probably shocked that they've ever heard me complain, because I've never complained about a purchase before. But yeah, I don't really feel I have that many physical characteristics other than just the regular size paperbacks. I do read other types of books, but those are just my preference. They look nicer when they're all kind of in a line on the bookshelves. And if they're just in kind of, I said, good condition, I said with the buying used books, again, I don't mind buying used books, but as long as they're just in good condition, it's fine with me. And the last and final question is, if you won the lottery, what bookish things would you do with the money? I could probably name a bunch of things of what I would do with the money. One thing obviously would probably be to kind of build a space for all of my books, or just a nicer space. I would love, if I owned my own house, I would love to have a room just dedicated to my books. And another big thing I would really like to do is do a subscription box. I would love to do that and fill things with obviously books and bookish items and get signed copies and things like that. I love getting them in the mail, and I think it'd be super fun to make them. So if I had the money, I would definitely do that, because then like it wouldn't be I would be able to build a subscription box, so that would be super fun. And then the last thing would, like, I don't know, I feel like that's not a lot for winning the lottery, but I don't know. I never really have thought about that question, because people always ask that question, like, oh, what would you do if you win the lottery? Like, not even just book related. My first thing would definitely be like pay off my student loans, but gotta love those loans. But I don't know, I just definitely the book subscription thing, and then building my own space for my books. And probably down the line too, I would like to, if I could, like if this was in like an alternate universe, like learn how to write and write a novel. That would be really fun. As a reader, I think it would be really cool. I always have like ideas coming up in my head, like, oh, this would be a great romance novel. But at the same time, I feel like I can't really write that great. But you never know, in an alternate universe, or one day down the line, I can take classes and writing classes. So that would be super cool. So there you have it. There was the Boujee Booktuber Tag. I feel like that might be a mouthful to say. I don't know if that's just me. But that was super fun. I love doing these tags because they're different from other videos. I am going to try to start like changing up the way that I do videos, because now that I have like a couple different videos out there, I'm definitely going to try to start doing reviews and things like that. For my next video, I would like to do the books I would like to read for the end of 2019, because I do have some book buddy reads coming up and things like that, especially with some YouTubers here on BookTube. So I'm super excited to do that video. Anyway, but thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Cassidyreads. And thank you so much for watching. Bye guys. Have a great day.